Is anyone else getting fatter in isolation? I certainly am. It's pretty crazy. But not as crazy as the Tiger King, everybody. Trying to keep busy. So I've taken up drinking. The hard stuff. Bailey's. The hardest of stuff. Ah, yeah, I feel like a real man. Nothing could prepare me for what I was going to watch. I've watched a few Netflix documentaries in the past. They're all very well. A lot of them are very, very good. Could be Making a Murderer, Don't Fuck with Cats, also very good, as of late. But this is seriously good shite, everybody. I heard you sneeze. You're ruining my recording! Sorry. Now, the story is ultimately about 3 individuals that are deeply involved in the exotic big cat trade, or they're in the private zoo industry. Now, 2 of them do have private zoos, and the third one, Carol, is the one that's trying to have a conservation zoo, but she's also kind of running it as a private zoo. So there's a whole lot of contradiction there. But that really is, the main story is about those 3 characters and the people that surround those 3 characters that either work at the zoo or are some way, shape or form connected to the story as it gets more and more crazy. The Tiger King, okay? Probably the most interesting, charismatic person I've ever seen in a documentary. You could easily make a reality TV show about him and it would go gangbusters, which they were trying to do, but won't spoil it, didn't happen. Sad story in the middle of it. You'll probably see it if you do watch the film. Now, the show sets itself up like it's going to be about an attempted murder trial as well as big cats. But my God, it takes you on the biggest roller coaster I've ever seen in any documentary. I thought the roller coaster that I went on in Making a Murderer was crazy. It pales compared to this. The list of avenues this goes down from episode to episode, from backstory to backstory, to unsolved mysteries, to political campaigns, to people wearing wires and going undercover, to how the animals are treated, to the cult-like existence within the zoo. It just doesn't stop. Every single 20 minutes, you're like, holy shit, what's going on now? New twist, new turn. It even touches on polygamy in this thing, which now I know, if you are in the US, you need to have your wives in separate houses. Pretty sure the real estate now in Australia is dropping. Time to buy another house. Joking! It really is absolute madness, and I was watching it with my partner, and every half an hour we were turning to each other and going, what the hell's happening now? Like, it really does start with an idea that it's going to give you one thing, but then it just completely gives you something else. And the cast of characters that you meet, I mean, it looks like you meet the bad guy out of Westworld and Richard Jewell in this thing. But all jokes aside, the good thing about this is there's no clear villain. The whole thing is trying to give you this topsy-turvy, up and down roller coaster and giving you a lot of information, right? But it's not trying to give you who the villain is. I think it's trying to give you all the villains, actually. There's no clear moment where you're like, oh, okay, this is what this creator of this documentary is trying to tell me. That this person or this group are the bad guys. There are so many moments where it tries to really shed some light on the past of these individuals. And I feel like it equally tries to show all 3 as the villain. And at some times it tries to show their good side too, but you will find that most of this documentary, all 7 parts, is most of the time trying to shed light on lies or deceit, and it tries to give you a cloud of doubt on literally everything that it presents. Like pretty much everything. But look, behind all the big craziness and the very watchable TV, it is trying to say something here. It's not just trying to give you some flammable bit of content that's really fun to watch, but at the end of the day, you didn't learn anything. It's not trying to do that. It is trying to say something about big cats and exotic animals that are kept in captivity in private environments, but it's also trying to say something about desperate people and how they're preyed upon by very smart and manipulative people that try and get them to work 20 hours a day and keep them hooked on drugs and trying to continuously fill these desperate people's voids just to keep them in their command. Many of these characters are desperate and looking for shelter, and they strategically look for these types of people. Or, in Doc Antle's case, he's looking for very impressionable young women to try and work 20-hour days and get paid next to nothing. And Carol is recruiting volunteers that are literally working for nothing to try and run these parks. So it's about the animals getting caged, but also the people that work for these zoos are kind of in a cage themselves. And the director, when he first set out to make this whole documentary, it was going to be about the animals. But as he got to know the characters that were running these zoos, it was clear that it was a far more interesting story to talk about the cats and the exotic animals, as well as the people involved. Definitely worth watching, but don't expect this to have all the loose ends tied at the end, because it's just not how this was made, and it was probably intended to be that way. But guys, go check it out. I can't wait to go to the movies tomorrow, go to the gym, go to a restaurant, and go to a nail salon, because you can do all those things in Australia right now. So I'm going to do that tomorrow, and I'm going to continue reviewing more Netflix stuff, I think, this week. Love you, appreciate ya. I will see you next time.